Hi, guys. Welcome back.
Or welcome to
Another episode of the Wandering Minds podcast.
where we take a deep dive into the unknown and the everyday. We're your hosts, Brianna
and Lauren.
And today we're going to be talking all about travel.
Probably our number one favorite thing ever in life.
Agreed.
I'd say.
Yes.
We figured that we would first talk about the top 3 lessons that we've learned from traveling. Both of us, I mean, you have more travel experience than I do, but different experience in the sense that you've traveled to different countries, whereas I travel more domestically in the US. So I'm interested to see what we've written.
Me too.
She said earlier today, she asked if she could send over her lessons to me, but I said, keep it a surprise for the podcast. I kind of want to hear it and have my genuine reaction.
I know, me too.
On camera. So I think maybe like one of us can start and then we just go back and forth.
Yeah, that's perfect. And also just a disclaimer, I still feel like in the world of travel, yes, I've been to places, more international places, but I still feel like such a newbie and I still have so much more of the world to discover. So I just want to humble myself there before we start. Yes.
Do you want to begin?
Yeah, sure. So I have 3 kind of 4 lessons for me that distilled down to when I was thinking about just the way that travel has impacted me in my life. For those of you who don't know, the very first time that I left the United States was in 2019. I took myself to Egypt by myself on a yoga retreat, which was also with my birthday. Why are you?
I'm laughing because I need to tell this story. I need to introduce
Okay.
So the current yoga retreat company that Brianna works for right now, Adventure Retreats, that was her very first time leaving the country. I think you just randomly Googled yoga retreats, right?
Yeah.
And so she's always had a fascination for Egypt. And so she wanted to go. This, like you said, was back in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
She went by herself, and I'm the type to think the worst of absolutely everything. So in my head, I'm like, this is a scam. She's going to get sex trafficked. Like, she's going to get picked up at the airport and they're going to kidnap her. Thankfully, that didn't happen.
Instead, I got a job.
So
happy to report. No, but for real, it really was one of those pinch me moments where immediately after I had to call my parents and tell them about it because I was so excited, and it really has been a dream come true. And it's just opened up my eyes so much to how the rest of the world operates and just how other people think and act in the world. Like we said in our last episode, we grew up in a very small farm town in little southern New Hampshire, and to be honest, it's a little whitewashed, and it's just a lot of the same thing over and over and over again, and you don't get a lot of very expansive experiences in that sense. And I feel like travel has really done that for me. So the first lesson that travel has impacted for me in my life was patience, the lesson of patience. If you've ever been on an airport or to an airport, or if you've ever traveled anywhere outside of your home, longer than a few hours, I would say, you have probably run into some things that are really uncontrollable, whether it's a flight getting delayed, whether it's traffic getting to where you need to go, a car breaking down, your mode of transportation breaking down, somebody getting sick, things not being available, your phone is not working. Like, there's so many aspects of traveling, I think, that show that, wow, there's actually more outside of my control than in my control. And there's no sense in me wasting my own precious energy and time trying to really focus on those things that I can't control. And then with that, leading into the next one, it has also taught me a lot more about presence and just being able to really soak in the moment that I'm in, whether it's positive or seemingly negative. There have been many times in my travels where I've had flights canceled and delayed and was stuck in an airport overnight. And then randomly I had somebody that was in the city and they came to pick me up that I knew, and I wouldn't have ever known otherwise that they were there. And I think the presence piece of travel has really shown me to just really soak in what's happening right in front of me, because it is fleeting and I may never get this moment back. Yeah.
That is a big one. And that's actually when Brianna and I went on a yoga retreat last year to Sicily. We're only there for a week, and I'm pretty sure the first night we didn't even do any yoga, I don't think.
No,
we're
so tired.
We were all sitting in a circle. We did some meditation.
A little bit, yeah. We did like maybe a child's pose or two. Yeah.
And they were asking us like what's currently on our mind. I forget. And literally, I was just brought to tears. And I was like, I just need to be in the present moment this week because I'm always in my mind about everything. I'm always thinking about what I could have done better, what I should have said in a certain situation, or I'm always thinking about what's happening in the future. And I'm never like in the moment ever. I don't think. I'm constantly worried about something. So, especially when I travel, I do try and be in the moment and soak up every experience so I can remember it and feel like I wasn't just in my head the entire time. So that's a really good one.
Yeah, thanks.
Also, patience. That's a struggle for me every day.
Yeah, it is. And she's working on it always, myself included.
Yeah.
But
But just thinking like a flight to Florida from where we live is 4 hours probably. So you're
Not
like, oh,
even,
that's
yeah.
a super quick flight, but you don't take into account you have to get up early to get to the airport 2 hours early. So you're waiting around for 2 hours, then you have a 4 hour flight. Then again, if there are any delays or you're waiting for your luggage and baggage claim, 4 hours turns into like 7 or more.
Or more.
Yeah.
Especially when I remember what really taught me what experience came to my mind when I was thinking about just the patience piece overall was I was coming back from Costa Rica and I had a layover in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And the airline that I was taking, which I will not name here, but I had only traveled on it once and I will never again after this experience. But yeah. And so when I had gotten to the airport, another thing that you don't necessarily think of is your line at customs and just how long that's going to take you when you're entering back into the United States from coming somewhere outside. And when we landed in Fort Lauderdale, customs was full, so we weren't even allowed to get off the plane. So we sat on the plane at the gate for maybe 45 minutes ish. And then when we were allowed off of the plane, we got in line to head to customs, and the line, no joke, took 4 hours. It was an experience, I'll say that. And I'm really glad that I packed snacks with me because it helped me get through that. But in that time, I obviously missed my connection flight. So once I had finally gotten through customs, I went immediately to this airline's rebooking desk. They had one more flight out that night to the city that I needed to get to. And I said, okay, put me on it. And then they put me on it. I had went back through security, was waiting at my gate. The flight got delayed by 2 hours. So I was like, okay, it's fine. It's no big deal. I'm on one last leg getting home. And then the next time, as it is getting closer, the flight got delayed again by another hour and a half. And then I was just like, okay. And then eventually the flight got canceled. So then I went back to their rebooking desk and then was telling my friend about it. And she was like, oh no, my dad lives like 10 minutes from the airport. He's coming to pick you up. Like, so you don't have to spend the night on the airport floor. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. Okay. It also took me maybe another 3 hours, no joke, to get through the rebooking line because everyone else was rebooking that canceled flight. So by the time I got out of the airport, it was almost 2 a.m. And her dad had been waiting outside for me for like 2 hours at that point because he didn't know how long it would take me. And then he brought me to his house. I took a shower. While I was taking a shower, he made me a grilled cheese and like cut up some fruit and just like very much took care of me. And he brought me back at 5 a.m. So like neither of us slept that night, a total stranger. And like, it was such a gift to be able to have that moment with him. Yes, I was fully exhausted, but it also just showed me, I don't know, the beauty of humanity, as corny as that sounds, but like people just look out for each other. And I don't have that many experiences locally, I'll say, but when I travel, I have them more and more because I'm in somewhere that's not new, that's foreign to me, and I don't know my way around. So I have to rely on someone that knows what's going on there. But yeah, that was quite a tangent. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, great.
That's what a podcast is.
Great. The next one that I had, so we had patience, we had presence, and then the next one was also perspective. Again, I still feel like I'm such a newbie in the world of travel and visiting other places. I haven't visited anywhere in Asia yet, or Australia, or Antarctica. Hopefully one day is on my list too. But one of the things that I think travel has really taught me as well is just the perspective of one, I don't know what I don't know, but also how vast and expansive and really beautiful this world is and the people in it and the ways that they live and how some of them live so differently than the way that I live. And it's been really inspiring and eye-opening for me over the years as I get the opportunity to visit these countries, even if it's just for a short period of time, to just try and soak in as much as I can of how the locals live to really get that immersive experience in it.
That was actually my first lesson, how I think it's so important and essentially vital for everyone to experience different cultures, different ways of living, and people of different backgrounds. Because as you mentioned earlier, living in a small town in New Hampshire, it's like 99% white. You don't encounter many other races. I remember in our high school of 4,000 kids, I think there were a handful of Black people, and we were just like, whoa, like we've never seen that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
we're admitting our own ignorance here,
yes.
guys. Don't come for us.
Americans can be ignorant.
Yes.
Myself included.
Disclaimer.
And also just in the sense that we are so privileged and lucky to live in this country.
Yeah.
And I feel like we take it for granted and we just automatically assume the rest of the world is like it is here, and it's not at all.
The second you step foot off the plane, it's sometimes that obvious.
Yeah. And the day-to-day stressors we deal with is nothing compared to what people in third world countries have to deal with, even second world sometimes. And it's like, you know, we do have a homeless problem here. But a vast majority have a roof over their head, have clean water, have food. You can get a car. Pretty much anything you want, you can get here. And that's a struggle for millions, probably billions of other people in the world. Even just getting clean water, it's insane. So kind of going along with perspective, I feel like if you were to visit a third world country and see what it's like elsewhere, it would let you know how good we have it here, I think.
I completely agree. Yeah. I always have felt that coming back home too. There's little things that you experience in other countries. I don't know if anybody else has felt this, and I might sound really lame for admitting this out loud, but one of my favorite things about coming back to the United States after I travel is being able to put my toilet paper back in the toilet and not in the trash.
Yes. Yeah.
Like wherever I land in my layover that's at first entering the US, I'm just like, USA, as I run to the bathroom. It is
We couldn't even do that in Italy, right?
No, everywhere that I've been outside of the US, I've never been able to do that. And again, that is definitely like the definition of a first world problem, I'll admit it, but it is one of those things that you don't recognize how good you have it until you have the ability to experience something different and something outside of your norm.
And even in Sicily, I mean, they said we can shower and brush our teeth with the water, but it wasn't recommended to drink it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a difference in mineral content. It wasn't like it.
Not that it was dirty, but
no, it was just a different mineral makeup, right? That our stomachs aren't used to.
My next one, it's a good one. I feel like it starts off bad because, as I mentioned before, I'm such an anxious person, so I think the worst of everything. And sometimes it saves me in certain situations, I will say that. But the world is not as scary as it appears to be, and how the media and social media, news outlets, whatever, want to make it seem for some reason. They obviously just only focus on the negative things going on in the world, war, famine, all that stuff. They never talk about anything good that happens. And I think, honestly, watching the news and taking in that information kind of makes me anxious. But I feel like innately humans are good-natured. And no matter where you go, yes, there's going to be horrible people.
I was going to say, the caveat is like, we know those things all exist. We're not blindly ignorant to the fact that there is bad in the world and that there are people who do have ill intentions out there. But for the majority of it, the 8 billion plus humans that are out there, I would also agree that within my encounters, the world is innately good.
Yeah. And at our core, like, we thrive in a community. As much as I say I hate people, I don't. But
we need them.
Yeah, we do. And I just feel like, you know, every day you'll encounter an a-hole or two. But overall, no matter where you go in the world, it's just filled with good humans.
Yes.
And the people you talk to, even domestically in different states, like I've had great interactions with people. When I was in Las Vegas, I was watching the water fountain show, the Bellagio, outside one of the hotels. And we were just next to this middle-aged couple. I forget where they're from. But we befriended them, and then the rest of the night we hung out with them, like walked down the strip, got drinks with them. I just love those kind of interactions. And no matter where you go, you'll find that. So don't focus on the negative stuff.
Yeah. I think
be cautious, but
Yes, always be self-aware. Like know where you are, keep an eye on your surroundings. I think that's so important. But I think also to your point, it just reminds me that we're all human. Like we all as different as we are and as different as our experiences are and our beliefs and everything else, like we all have the same range of emotions. We just show them at different times and in different ways, but we all feel the same sense of melancholy, the same sense of sonder, the same sense of awe and amazement that we get in other humans. Those all exist. And traveling for me too has been one of those things that has showed me like how kind strangers really can be. I remember one time when I was flying down to Peru, I was sitting next to this kid who, I say kid, he's my age. But we just started talking about like why we were going down to Peru. He was going down for a wedding to visit family. Ricky, I hope you're listening to this. And I was going down to host a yoga retreat down there. And when we just started talking about the things that we love to do. And for him, it was streaming. For me, it was my retreats. And just the energy that somebody gives off when they are passionately talking about something that they truly love is infectious and contagious.
I love listening to them, just listening.
Me too. And it even extended to like his gestures beyond that as well. So our conversation kind of died down. I had fallen asleep on the plane. When I woke up, he had folded his sweatshirt and put it underneath me to use as a pillow. And he had also saved a meal for me when the flight attendant walked by. So I like had food when I woke up. And I didn't even ask for it. I know, it was so sweet. It was one of those moments. Like I still think about him to this day and I wish him well. We talk on Instagram from time to time and it like is one of those moments of like, you're such a cool human. And I'm so happy that our paths crossed because if we both weren't going to Peru at this time, we would have never met.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Ever. Well, maybe, who knows, but probably not.
Probably.
Yeah.
I know. I love that. And even our personal chef on our yoga retreat in Italy, she was so happy.
Yeah.
She was smiling 24/7. I don't think I ever saw her not smiling that entire week.
Yeah.
It's just infectious being around those kinds of people.
You can feel it for sure. You could see it in her eyes, just carrying her big basket of lemons. Yeah.
She was so happy to show us how to make pasta and making her pesto sauce. It was awesome.
And I think one of sorry, just one more thing before we move on. But I think also for me, one of the more beautiful pieces of that too is like that level of excitement and connection transcends beyond language. She didn't speak a lick of English, but we could still feel and exchange those emotions together and enjoy an experience together, even without words. And I love that.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. My last one, I think it's super important and beneficial to get outside of your comfort zone. And I've been learning that as well. Because I personally struggle with, like, in the face of something new, I immediately doubt my confidence and I'm immediately like, oh, I can't do that. I haven't even tried it yet. How do I know? And honestly, so when we went to Seattle a decade ago.
Yeah.
Back in 2015.
Yeah.
And at that point, I hadn't been on a plane in like 11 years. I think the last time, so we were 19 at that point. Yeah. I hadn't been on a plane since I was 8 when I went to Disney with my family. So I was super nervous to be on a plane. And I think I was so anxious that I made myself physically sick. I mean, I didn't throw up or anything, but the entire 6-hour flight, my stomach was in my throat. And after I napped for about an hour, I felt fine. But I was so worried about it that I debated just not going. But I'm so glad I did because that trip sparked my interest and passion and love for travel. And I'm so glad. It really did because I was so used to New Hampshire all day, every day. And seeing Mount Rainier and the Space Needle and just...
And Mount Hood.
Yeah, it was so cool. And I'm so glad I went. So you have to put yourself out there because otherwise you won't know.
Yeah, and also like I think it's important for everybody to hear too is that you're not alone in the sense that you have those types of fears and anxieties. Our brain is wired to keep us in the known because it's predictable and because it's therefore and it's safe at the end of the day. It's ultimately safe, whether it's actually good for us or not. And I think that being able to put yourself in situations where it is outside of your comfort zone, it really does not only test you, but it shows you of like, wow, I'm so much more capable of things than I give myself credit for. Yeah. Which you absolutely are.
It gives you a boost of confidence once you realize you actually can do something.
It totally does. Yeah. I feel like, yes. No, again, I haven't gone in that many places, but I definitely have noticed that level of confidence in my ability to navigate a foreign airport.
Yeah. And honestly, because of you, I now want to take a solo trip somewhere.
You should.
I know,
Yeah.
I really want to. Maybe to start, it'll still be in the United States, but
Yeah.
just
Even
to get my foot in the
drive
door.
somewhere for a weekend.
That's
You don't even have to
true,
get on a
that's
plane.
true.
Just drive somewhere.
But I kind of want to get.
I get that. Yeah. That's the excitement. I get it.
Speaking of, the next thing we kind of wanted to talk about was just where we want to travel to next.
Yes.
Everywhere. I still haven't gone to Canada.
My first
would
time
love
was like
to.
a couple months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to. We can drive there. I mean,
It's only
why
4
not?
hours from us by car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Canada, the Dominican Republic, because my fiance is Dominican, so I just want to see. He wasn't born there. He was actually born in Puerto Rico, but he is Dominican. So I just want to see where his family grew up. And then Ireland, because my dad's side is Irish, and
The homeland.
the homeland. I feel like with my red hair, I'd fit in there. And my uncle actually went to Ireland a handful of years ago, and he was able to find my great, 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 maybe another great grandmother's grave.
That's
And
so
he
cool.
said her headstone was still completely like preserved. Yeah. And he said he was talking to locals, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know the Connolly family." Yeah, it's
That's
so cool.
so
I would
cool.
love to go there. Pretty much everywhere in Europe, I would say, just due to the architecture, the history. Oh, Iceland.
Keep going. Yeah, perfect.
Iceland
That's on my list too.
for the Northern Lights, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Australia, just because I think like, what the actual fuck is that country?
What do you mean?
Because since it's like isolated, it has its own friggin' animal species.
Yeah.
It has disgusting insects and reptiles. Sorry, I shouldn't say disgusting. I should say scary.
Life threatening.
Yeah. And then a few countries in Asia, just because the landscape. Oh my
So
God,
beautiful.
like Thailand
Yeah.
and Western China.
Yeah.
And the history there, my God. Pretty much everywhere, except not Antarctica like you.
Oh, see, I would love
hate
to
the
go.
cold. No, thank
And
you.
it's not even, I mean, I can handle the cold if I'm dressed for it. That is no problem to me. One of my favorite things is actually walking around in the woods in the middle of a snowstorm, but definitely a New Hampshire thing. But I think like it just feels so unattainable to be able to travel to the bottom of the earth and the bottom of the globe. And the
What
fact
are
that
they
we
hiding
can
there?
do it now, I don't know. That's a story for another episode. But I don't know what they're hiding down there, but I also want to see it. And I want to see the penguins. And I just want to see the icebergs and just like how I've had friends that have traveled there. Yes. And I've seen their content and their videos, but I know the camera does not do it justice.
No.
But even that, I was mind blown of how, yes, crystal blue and crystal clear the water is down there. And it just looks so amazing. I also would love to travel to pretty much anywhere in Europe. I don't think there's a single place in Europe that I wouldn't want to go, especially in Asia too. I'm not picky either. I will basically go anywhere.
Europe, how easy it is to travel to different countries.
Yes, the
You can
train
take a
system,
train,
yeah, makes it so easy. I agree. Yeah. I definitely I'll be crossing Greece off my bucket list this year in May, which I'm super excited about. And then I'm hoping in 2026 to be able to go to Japan. That's something that's also has been on my bucket list for a really long time. And then also domestically too, like there's cities within the US that I've never been to that I want to check out. Like I really want to go to Austin. I would love to explore more of the Northwest. Yeah, Alaska, anywhere in Hawaii. I would like to explore. Pretty much. If there's a plane ticket available for me, I will not say no. Yeah, I'm not going to be picky about that because any opportunity I have to see something new, I'm extremely grateful for. Yeah.
And I have not necessarily a goal, but I said the next time Adventure hosts a retreat where my birthday falls on that retreat, I'm going no matter where it is.
It's April 6th for Danielle and Ozma for you guys to start planning that. A shameless plug. Yeah, no. But it makes it that much more special too, to be able to do that. Agreed.
What's your favorite mode of transportation?
Oh, I think boat.
Can't relate.
I say that only because I had the opportunity to take a Nile cruise the last time. So I've been to Egypt twice. One time, as I mentioned, was in 2019, and the second time was in October of 2023. I was actually hosting a retreat there. It was a full circle moment. Yeah. And we had the opportunity to take a private Nile cruise. So we spent a few days in Cairo, and then we flew down to Luxor. And then from Luxor, we got on our sailboat and we just sailed for the remainder of the retreat. And we stopped off at every different temple along the way and places we need to go along the way. And I think that so far has been one of my favorite because it was so peaceful and so quiet. And being on, and having the constant breeze from the sails were really nice. The crew was amazing. Like we had dance parties every night. They hired a band to come on for us. There were just so many beautiful things. I think a boat for me. Yeah. And she says can't relate because she doesn't know how to swim.
That's true.
Disclaimer.
But I also, I think I don't really get seasick. The only time I did, I went deep sea fishing with my uncle a few years ago. And one of the spots we were at, we were there for 45 minutes. So I think the rocking just got to me eventually.
That's fair.
And so I'm like, oh God, I need to go to the bathroom. And then the bathroom is more disgusting. Oh my God. So then that made me want to puke even more. But eventually I was fine. I wouldn't say a car because my butt gets numb easily. I just want to get up and stretch every 30 minutes. I hate it. But same with a plane too. But I love being on a plane because I know it's taking me somewhere far away very quickly. Yeah. So I'd say plane at this point because I also don't know how to ride a bike. If I did, probably a bike.
She learned a little bit when we were in Sicily. She made it down to the beach and back.
Barely.
But she did.
I was committed though. Yeah. I'll say that.
I was really proud of her. Getting outside of you do get out of your comfort zone. Yeah. No, you really do.
The water when we were on our sailing day. Yep. I put a little lifesaver floaty around me, but I got in the water. I'm like, I'm here. There's no way I'm not getting in it.
Yeah. You go.
Yeah.
I love it.
The last thing we want to cover is if we have any travel hacks from all of our experience.
Asterisk, not that much, but yes.
But my biggest thing is make a freaking list. Do you?
I do, but I always forget something. Always. The past couple times that I've gone on retreats, I've forgotten pajamas. I don't know how that happens. Thankfully, I've had rooms to myself, so it's not a big deal, but yeah,
I make a Word document. I have subheadings like bold.
Oh, me too. I have
crazy.
Like an actual checkbox for every single one, and I still will always forget something.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say for me, is yours still related to what we're talking about? Okay. I think for me, one of the biggest things is it's not even a hack, but like bring snacks. Because you don't know, especially with the uncertainties of delays or transportation or just anything like that, you don't know when your next meal will be accessible to you. So I have found in my own experience, it's been a lifesaver to have different types of snacks on me, whether it be protein bars or dried fruit or protein powder. So I can make shakes, granola. Sometimes just stock up on the little convenience store at the airport before you leave. I know that's a little more expensive. Yeah, trail mix, all that kind of stuff. For me, I really prefer high protein snacks. So I'll even get protein chips sometimes. Yeah. Just because I find that to be more satiating when I travel. And sometimes travel days can be like 10, 12, 24 hours. And in that case, it's just really nice to have that. I think for me too, something that I've learned is to always carry a change of clothes in your carry-on. And not in your checked bag. You should.
I know.
I'm speaking from personal experience because I had, oh my God, this was maybe 4 or 5 years ago now. I threw up on the plane and it's a long story and I don't want to discuss it here, but basically I didn't have any clothes accessible to me because I didn't have any in my carry-on and it was just a mess. So after that, I have always carried a full outfit, if not 2, in my carry-on, if I can help it. And my toothbrush and toothpaste always stay on.
I'm just remembering that story. And you know what I'm associating with it? The movie Bridesmaids. When they all get sick from that food at like the dress fitting or something, and Melissa McCarthy's like, I picture that with a COVID mask on.
That's actually what happened because I had to wear a mask. Oh my God, yes. Yes. Yep.
Anyway,
Lesson learned. Lesson learned. What other travel hacks do we
my
have?
biggest one and my favorite,
Mm.
kind of going along with the list, is instead of just making a list of individual things clothing wise that you need to pack, try and think of outfits and think of things you can put together for certain days and depending on what you're doing. And then to save space, roll that outfit up together, like bra, underwear, shirt, everything together.
That's a good one.
Right?
Yeah, that is.
And packing cubes helped a bunch. The first time I ever used them was when we went to Sicily.
I like that.
Because I'm really bad at overpacking, but I feel like it's always better to be over prepared than under. But the packing cubes saved my life with Italy.
The packing cubes are amazing. I will attest to that too. I've been trying to not overpack over the years. I actually never bring a checked bag with me. I only bring a carry-on. I've made it, I think, 10 or 11 days on just a carry-on in a backpack before. And the packing cubes worked wonders for that. Yes. I think also something else that has worked for me, this is not technically allowed at the airports, but I've found it works. When you go to the airport and you only have a carry-on, they allow you your carry-on and one personal item. And as we know, if we have like a little belt bag or a little crossbody with us, they also count that as an item. So you have to condense it. And something that has worked for me is I will bring a plain brown paper bag to the airport with me. There's no logos on it. Just a plain brown paper bag. And I put my snacks in it and I put anything that doesn't fit in my carry-on in that. And I just use that as my third bag. And no one has ever said a single thing to me. Actually, that's not true. One person said, "Oh, ma'am, you have 3 bags." And I said, "Oh, I got this after the gate, ma'am." Or I got this at the gate. And then I just walked on through and she didn't say a thing. So if you've run out of space, that has worked for me for almost 10 international trips so far. So yeah. Again, not really allowed, but it's one of those, I guess.
I feel like
trying to be a girl's girl here.
Don't care.
No, they really
have
don't.
So many rules, but they also let so many things slide.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
I think that was it.
Cool.
Thank you guys for tuning in again.
Yes.
And a little sneak peek of next week's episode. One of our viewers, Kyle, thank you, Kyle. Hello. He commented on our last video asking us to talk about, well, he didn't ask us, but we're going to.
Yeah.
About the law of attraction and our religious/spiritual journeys that we've been on. And we're excited to talk about that too. And I think it was actually one of the bullet points that we listed when we were first kind of brainstorming this podcast of things we wanted to talk about anyway. So perfect segue, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. Thank you, Kyle, again for that comment. Again, if anybody that's listening out there, if there's a specific topic that you want us to cover, feel free to put it in the comments if you're on YouTube.
We're down to talk about anything and everything.
And everything. Yes, this is The Wandering Minds, a deep dive into the everyday and the unknown.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you next week.